in that he can talk to. So he's going to stop and see patients.
Welcome to Hometown Cable. What's Going On is the name of our program. It's Sunday night, and thanks for tuning in this Sunday and every Sunday. I'm Bob Then, and I've come down with a mysterious disease or something, and I've come to the medical center, and they gave me all 3 doctors, and they still don't know what I've got. And as long as it's not fatal, I'm all set for it. Well, first of all, we'll talk to the ones we know. Dr. George Starr and
Nobody. John
Southwick. They started this medical center. I should say they followed up Dr. Schulteis in
1963.
You came in 65.
Well, yeah, the medical center was 1961. Dr. Southwick came in 63. I came in 65.
Okay, and then shortly after that, Dr. Racine
Dr. Racine came in 1981. 81.
And now, in 1992, a brand new person, and you are Dr.?
Megan Hess.
Megan Hess.
And I was born in 1961.
Well, this shows you two things were conceived at the same time. Medical center.
It was fate that brought me here.
It was fate that brought you here. Well, we'll always know your age now. It's when the medical center started. Well, Megan, when did you get here?
I got here in September, but I had a baby in October, so I've been on maternity leave since then. I'm going to start work in March.
Did you get any one of these doctors to help you through the maternity leave?
They've helped, yes.
They've
a lot.
helped, huh?
They didn't have much to do with the delivery of the baby because he was born early and was in Burlington.
Was born early?
Mm-hmm.
Cesarean? Did they bring you on a cesarean?
I did have a cesarean.
They tell me that the doctors are saying that early morning talk show said 37% in one state of what do you call it, cesarean, and they say the doctors don't want to wait around and want to go on vacation, and is that serious? Could that be possible?
No, I don't think that many cesareans are done for convenience. There is a higher than usual cesarean rate, or a higher than previous cesarean rate, but there are a lot of factors that go into that. Doctor convenience is not one of them.
It's not one of them. But it doesn't take you long. You haven't even been here long, and you're already following the way they talk. Baby was born when?
In October.
And I met him out front, and his name is Joseph. I said, a name I can say and pronounce and remember.
And spell.
And what's his middle name?
David.
Oh, 2 great names, huh? Okay. And tell us a little bit about Megan Hess.
I was born in Iowa. Well, I was actually born in Kansas, but raised in Iowa, and I went to school in Iowa and medical school at the University of Iowa. I did my residency in western Pennsylvania in a little town called Altoona, which is right on the railroad.
We know where that is, I think.
I met my husband there. We got married in 1990 and promptly moved to Alaska, where I did 2 years with the Public Health Service. I was in a little town called Bethel that's on the west coast, about the same latitude as Anchorage. Actually in the very ugly part of Alaska. It's on a river delta. It's flat. It's muddy. You can see the horizon in 360 degrees. But it's next to a big river that's got a major salmon industry. A lot of Native Americans that I took care of there. Eskimos of the Yupik variety there. Then last spring I was looking for another place to practice, and I ended up here.
How did you find out about Champlain?
There's a big computer in Kansas that tells family practitioners where there are openings, and John and George and Mo had been looking for a partner, and the computer told me to come look here, and I looked at several practices, and I just liked it here. Do you know Nietzsche, the philosopher?
Not very well, no.
Not personally.
I wasn't even conceived then, all right.
But he says that when you make a small decision like what car you should buy or what brand of peanut butter you should choose, you should investigate the facts and make a very intellectual decision. When you're making a major life choice like who you're going to marry, where you want to raise your family, what you want to do for a profession, you should sort of go on a gut level. And when my husband and I finished interviewing at several places, this was the one that stood out as a place where we felt comfortable, and we just had a gut feeling that we would like it here. And so far our experience has been wonderful.
What's your husband's first name?
His name is Chris.
Chris, what's he do?
He works down at Garen's Nissan in Plattsburgh, selling cars.
Yep, all right. Now, there's one thing you got to admit, that Champlain probably a lot busier and nicer than coming from Bethel. There's got to be an improvement. That's very nice.
It is an improvement.
Uh-huh.
The only thing bad is that the equivalent of McDonald's there, which was called Kimberger, did deliver, which it doesn't here.
Yeah, but we have roads here. You can get to them.
You can drive to and from. And a hamburger was $4.95 there for your basic burger. So.
But did your salary go along with that? No, you were on a federal, right? A federal salary.
I was in the Public Health Service and made a federal salary. We got some bonuses that made things about equivalent to being down here, because to go anywhere we had to fly through Anchorage, which was $500 a person round trip. I broke my arm while I was up there, and to get to a hospital where I could see an orthopedist and have my arm fixed, I had to pay $500 airfare. to go in. So it's not as bad to go down to Plattsburgh or go over to
But,
Burlington.
you know, I usually say what I feel at the moment, and this lady's got the bluest eyes I have ever seen.
Thank you for noticing that they're fake Durasoft contacts.
I've never seen. You didn't have to say that.
Okay, just like Christy Yamaguchi. You know?
Okay, well, beautiful blue eyes. Okay. Well, Megan, when you come to a job like this, you have to say you'll be here for at least 5 years, at least 2 years?
No, actually, right now I have a 1-year commitment here, and then at the end of the year we'll figure out if we're all getting along together.
Okay, so they have a choice, and you have a choice at the end of a year.
Right.
Okay, well, you'll
That's
do well.
the usual arrangement.
That is the usual arrangement, huh?
We hope at the end of the year things will work out, and then...
Or even during the year, even.
Yes, we should know that sooner than a year, actually, right.
Well, she's not afraid to speak, is she? She really, speaking, and she's doing very well. You'll be well received here, I'm sure. The people out there are going to welcome this lady, our first lady doctor, and I know, in the town of Morris, Champlain, Shazy ever.
That's right.
Right?
far
At least
as I
that's
know,
serving,
that's correct.
as practicing,
We
correct?
should point out there's quite a few lady physicians in Plattsburgh now.
Yes, there are. Do you ever hear anything, anyone ever suggest to you, gentlemen, when you were looking for a doctor, yet you get a lady
Yes.
here? You
Yeah,
have?
in fact, the
Your
visit-
wife, maybe?
She probably, well, okay.
No, okay. That's staying on, John.
Staying on, all right, we let it stay on. Public health nurses have said that several times with their interviews with mothers at baby clinics and older people, and said, why don't you get a lady doctor? And I said, well, that'd be fine, and if one comes around, is interested, fine, we'll look and see and catch on.
You're certainly going to know what it feels like to have a baby. That you talk to these people and they say, I don't sleep nights or whatever.
I'm going to ask them for advice, I think, more often than I'm going
That's
to
right.
give it.
A lot of them are going to give you advice, right? Is your mom and dad still in Iowa?
Yes, they are.
Okay, so they'll get out here to see this nice country.
They were here actually just shortly after my baby was born to help me get to and from Burlington. Haven't been back since, but I hope they get back out. I have 4 brothers who live in the Washington, D.C. area.
I
So
was just going to ask you if you're the only one in the family. You have there are other grandchildren already then in the
my
family?
son is their 10th grandchild, so
Oh,
they
good.
have lots of little babies. But one of them's 20 now.
Yeah, but this
so.
is the daughter, the important
Yes,
one, when the
that's true.
daughter, right, John? You got, well, I better not say here, you know this here, yeah, okay. Well, what will this change? How will you change the operation here now?
Well, basically, we'll have expanded office hours. We'll be able to offer more services. As you know, the 3 of us were really overloaded, and we've even had to turn away some patients, which really we hated to do because traditionally or historically, we've always served this northern area. And when we got to the point where we had to turn away people, we felt that really we had to do something. So now we'll be able to offer not only more services, but expanded hours, and continue the tradition, which this has been, to serve this northern region.
What about the older doctors in this quartet here? Will they have more time off now?
We don't plan to take any more
No,
time
it'll
off.
be
do we?
actually an extra weekend off and an extra night off a week, and that'll be just about it, I think. With one of the advantages will be when one of us is on vacation or study time, then with 3 of us here, it makes it easier because about half of the time, maybe a little less than half the time, there will be only 3 physicians here. With vacation time, we allow 3 or 4 weeks vacation plus 3 weeks of study time each year. So 7 times 4 is 28. That's a little more than half the time. So,
Will you still, all 4 of you be rotating at the
yes.
hospital?
Well, we haven't definitely decided, but we probably will make it more of a convenience to the hospital and to us of having one person go to the hospital each week to cover
For a whole
all
week.
of our patients for the whole week, and then rotate the other 3 through the office. And
Well, if I can mention about that, that way you can tell a change from day to day that an extra person each day can't tell.
That's
Right,
correct.
that,
that's
so
correct.
you have that continuity there.
Yes,
We don't have, now, we have each one of us going
mhm.
1 to 3 times a week, and sometimes it's every other day. It gives the patient an extra physician to see them, go over the chart, maybe add something, so it's kind of an built-in consultant, but there is a little bit of continuity there that we do lose.
Okay, we'll take a short break. We'll be right back. We're at the North Country Medical Center. I'm feeling better already because I'm between 3 doctors, and one of them's good looking too.
Which one?
We started talking off camera a little bit about your outport, so to speak, Ellenburg. for instance, how will that affect your operation there,
Well, we
George?
plan to have an extra afternoon in Ellenburg. For example, I go there Monday afternoon, Dr. Southwick on Tuesday afternoon, and Dr. Racine goes on Friday afternoon. So we hope Megan will go in. Let's see, which day?
Thursday.
Thursday.
Is there enough calls there for you to go like that?
They've done studies up there that show that a lot of people in that area just do not get well served. Some of them go to the emergency room. There is a doctor in Dannemora now that sees people, but the whole area includes several people, and I think, in fact, I know Plattsburgh State University, I don't know if it was in the science, or somebody did a survey that showed there's a lot of underserved people in that area.
Do they come down here now on the off days?
They do, yes.
So that'll relieve down here, so it won't be quite so busy here because you'll have an extra person there, right?
Especially for the older people. A lot of older people tell us how much of a problem it is to come here to get transportation. Some of them have to pay for transportation, so it'll help a lot.
We will also expand. We now go to 5:30 on a regular day. We'll be going to 6 o'clock on a regular day. And Saturday will be a full day for one physician in the office.
Here?
Here.
Uh-huh.
Saturday now it's from 10:30 to about 3 or 4. And a physician that's on Saturday will start at 8 o'clock here, so we'll have expanded hours on Saturday too.
Okay, how are you making out on TV? All right here today? You said you're not completely unfamiliar with this? Tell me.
No, Bethel being a town of about 5,000.
In Alaska, remember, Bethel, Alaska.
In the middle of nowhere, had a public TV and radio station, KYUK, K-Yuck, because yuck means person in Yupik. They had two programs. One was called Yuck to Yuck, meaning person to person, and one was called Ask the Doctor. And I did Ask the Doctor, which was on the radio several times. One time was on advanced directives. One time was on strep throat, because that's a big problem there, and who should get treated and when and what the indications are.
How long of a program would you have?
Those were an hour long.
An hour?
With call-in, and several of the callers spoke the native language, because a lot of people there don't speak English, so some of it was through a translator, so we didn't really get
Oh, my.
a lot of information.
And how wide of an area were you getting out to?
I'm not sure exactly how big the KYUK broadcast area was. About 8 villages, I think, who could easily pick up KYUK.
Did they have phones, or did they have to go to a central place to get a phone to call you?
People had phones, pretty much. People had the Disney Channel. It's kind of a strange place. It's an area the size of Oregon that only has 15,000 people, so there's about one person per 5 square miles.
Wow.
And although people have the Disney Channel and electricity, they don't have toilets. They don't have roads. Everybody flies everywhere. So if a patient needed to come in, you know, if they had a very bad sore throat that wasn't getting better, they would have to fly into the hospital to see a doctor.
Well, if you've got Disney Channel, you don't have time to go to the bathroom, really, you know. Now, when you're on radio instead of TV, you can have your book open right in front of you to look for those answers.
Yes, you
Right?
can. You can do that on TV.
That's legal, isn't it? I know when I talk to John here once in a while, he goes away for 3 minutes, and I wonder where he goes. I have a feeling he's going and check the book.
The key to being a good physician is not to try to memorize everything, but to know which books things are in.
When you have a complaint, we really have to go to the book.
One of the older persons here talking to me. We were here in April, if you remember, if you saw the show in 1992, and we talked to John for a long time, and George came in for about 10 or 15 minutes, and we didn't get to see Dr. Moe, as I hear he's called. I always call him Morris, but Moe was not here that day. Dr. Racine, and we're hoping to see him today, at least to meet him. We're going to get a chance to say hello to him today.
He says he's awful busy.
Well, he's not as busy as he was because you got an extra...
One of us really has to keep the shop going.
I see. Okay, so you're not actually here working yet.
No, I'm starting March 1st.
All right. So now when they call in, I would assume that there'll be a lot of people that would like to go to a lady doctor.
We feel that way, yes.
I'm sure there is. There's certain things they'd rather they feel more comfortable with. Maybe they understand the feeling better than a man would of how you feel with.
I've had many comments from lady patients, female patients, who tell me they feel more comfortable with a woman than they would with a man.
I feel more comfortable with a woman than a man. I mean, that's not unusual, you know.
I think my schedule's full. No, there have been, I guess, several people calling for well baby visits, and a few women have expressed interest in making appointments, so they're kind of thinking ahead to booking patients for me.
What would be your biggest problem coming into a new area like this, except knowing faces when you see them?
I've never really practiced in an office before like this. I practiced in a residency and I practiced in a clinic in the public health service. And I think it's going to be a good change, but it's going to be one to get used to seeing the same patients over and over and getting to know my patients better. That's going to be different. My to-be partners, I've been very busy and have a very large hospital practice, which is something that I'm going to be getting used to. I'm used to covering only a small practice because we didn't hospitalize that many people in Bethel. Most of our stuff was outpatient. So that'll be something to get used to and sort of get up to speed in rounding on people in the hospital and being able to write notes and keep up.
Okay.
Actually, Megan was quite involved in the 50-bed hospital, right?
Yeah.
And she was chief of staff there for a while, weren't you?
I was president
of the staff, right.
medical staff for a while.
So she's got quite a bit of hospital experience.
Now, when you go to medical school today, did you major in anything other than general practice? Was there?
I specialized in family practice. Family practice is a separate specialty and has been since '72.
Okay.
And I did a residency in the discipline of family practice. So my 3 years were spent not just sort of hopping from, orthopedics to dermatology, but actually studying family medicine, studying family dynamics, psychosocial medicine, as well as dermatology, orthopedics, medicine, pediatrics, things like that.
You realize you're talking 72, that's 21 years ago. These people were already out and working at that time, so they didn't have that specialized training in family, right? But they've learned a lot.
But they have learned a lot, and they have all gotten certified in family practice, the discipline, and are actually all getting recertified this year.
And they've all got families,
This
too.
year.
Yeah.
This year we're all taking exams.
Okay. Now, as we drive by here, we've noticed some construction going on. Is this because of Megan that she said, I got to have a bigger office than you got now? What's we're standing in it now?
It's a sort of a coincidence where we decided we needed more space, and Megan came along, and it all came together. It's a sort of where everything just comes together at one time.
So how will the operation change here as far as the rooms are concerned now?
There'll be 3 more examining rooms, so we'll be able to have actually 3 physicians at a time. Here, when we have 2, we're really out of space. Now we'll be able to have 3 physicians and have adequate space, and we'll have better traffic because everything will be changed, where patient flow will be much improved than it is now.
But where you've had 2 working, haven't you each had 2 rooms? Where you put
3 rooms.
You each had 3 rooms.
Three rooms.
Yeah.
So now there'll be 9 rooms with
That's
3
correct. There'll be
working?
9
Actually,
nine
we talk
examiners.
about 4 physicians. One's going to be in the hospital,
Right.
half a day, and then we have school physicals, we have nursing home visiting, talked about Ellenberg, so there won't be a time when 4 physicians will be in here at
Understand,
one
yeah.
time.
Who sets up the schedule? The doctor?
We kind of sit down all together.
Well, I should give credit to John. He's the only one who's been able to work out a schedule. My mind goes blank when I try to, but he's worked it out, and it appears to be quite good.
And Barb, too, the front office has helped us out. This is primarily what this new area is going to be: front office space, clerical space, and this behind you, Bob, is where our record room will be. It's a fireproof room for our records.
That's what we see now when we come in the office, all those files sticking out, that's where they'll be?
They're going to be in here.
And it's a fire resistant, fire
resistant.
fireproof. Can this open up here?
Well, it's on
I
this
don't
room
know.
over there.
Oh, it's on that room,
Yeah, this will
okay.
be, I think, computer room in here.
Okay.
That'll be for the
Right.
files over there.
So Calvin is standing right where the window is, where you come in the front door, which has been, moved out here 25 feet or so.
And that's going to be better, too, because we're going to have
There's a door.
people coming in this way and then going out the outway.
There'll be two rooms?
Well, it'll be a separate desk for coming in and going out, rather than what we have
This will be a
now.
reception desk and reception area. Our triage nurse who
Okay.
makes appointments will be in this area here. This will be closed off. Over there will be the business office. This whole area over there will be business.
Okay. They'll be coming in this door
This door.
and talking to the...
No, they'll be going in that door into
I
the
beg your
waiting
pardon.
room.
Okay, the waiting room over
They'll
there.
be going that door into the waiting room.
Yep.
When they come out, they'll come here.
This is the important part, because this is
Yes.
where they pay their money.
We hope.
We hope.
Right, exactly, or sign the papers.
They'll sign the papers.
Okay.
And then they'll go out that door.
Don't let them scare you, just
So
because
this
they
is
say
the exit
they
right
hope
there.
that you still get paid here. All right, they'll be going out this door. There's a door just around the
Right.
corner
So it'll
here.
be a very smooth patient flow. There'll be kind of a...
Okay, so some of the room is going to go for expanded patients coming in and out. There's a little bit more room here than they had before.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, and then the old waiting room will be a
There'll be, one will be
Examining room, and one will be Barb's office.
Barb's office and a sort of an emergency room. We'll do stress tests and
Okay,
so on.
here is the old office. The doors before were right here. This is where you went in. There's the window, and then the closed closet is right there. And then we've added here about 25 by 25. Or,
Actually, there'll be a hall going straight through this way.
it will be going straight
Yeah,
through.
the hall will be going straight through this way. This door will be just to to Barb's office here.
Okay.
But this will be a hall going straight down.
Okay.
And there'll be access to the examining rooms, X-ray,
Okay.
emergency room.
All right. And how big did you say, John?
You were almost right. 30 by 35. I think the front dimension is, but this extension is 30 feet, and then the front dimension, I think, is about 35 feet.
Okay. And your contractor is?
Jules
Joe
Strand.
Tran, who built the original, built
And
the
the
addition.
He's built the whole building, yeah.
Yep, he's done the
This is the third edition, actually.
Yeah,
He's
and-
built the whole thing. This is the third edition.
third edition.
Third edition, plus we renovated the main addition, or the main building, about 4 different times.
When I came in, I got a feeling that the front section is exactly the same as the back section, with the brick in the middle being equidistant. Did you
Yes,
is that
yes,
right?
yes.
Printed the same
Yes.
30 or whatever? Okay, just about the same. Okay. And you've got air conditioners now in the rooms. Is that because the other air conditioner isn't big enough for the whole
That's right.
thing? Okay.
Plus it has separate furnace here, too.
Separate furnace in this
Well,
unit?
the outdoor air conditioner only services the middle part.
Okay.
You wouldn't be
have
able to.
two.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have 2 outdoor air conditionings, one for the middle part and one for the back part, too.
Okay. Will it have anything different that you didn't have before? Any services other than more availability and quicker, maybe? Other than that, is there anything new? Like we know
No,
you.
because we're pretty complete now.
I realize you
Yes,
have been
yeah.
very complete. As a matter of fact, when you've been around and you've seen other medical areas like this, where there's not a hospital as such, right in the area, does this compare, or is it nicer, or compared to other areas you've been?
I really haven't. I really didn't look at that many practices in
Okay.
areas that remote from a hospital. Certainly, there are wonderful facilities here. There's X-ray here. There's a wonderful lab here.
You've got
stress
everything
tests and
except
things like
room
that.
for patients.
Right, and time for patients. So
I beg your pardon?
time.
You got time for patients.
Well, hopefully, with my being here, we'll have more
okay.
time
All
for
right.
patients.
Yes. Yeah. John used to be able to analyze me over the phone, tell me I sounded well, so I must be well. All right, we'll take another short break. We're at the North Country Medical Center, growing every day. As other area throughout the country, you hear Sears shutting down, other places shutting down, GM, GE, they're all drawing the horns in. Here, the medical center has just increased by nearly a third in their area here, right?
Right.
Increased their staff by a third.
I should say that this whole area economically has been really favorable. We have the new mall being built in Champlain, and we have a lot of nice industries. Wyeth Harris is the biggest and the best, of course, but all these smaller industries. So this area economically has done very well.
Doing very well. Now, I meant to ask, I don't remember from a year ago, but do you get many Canadian patients?
No.
No.
Sometimes in the
Canadian-
summertime, we get transients that either camp at Point of Fair, Kings Bay. Occasionally, we'll get an emergency basis,
Okay,
but
because
we don't have any
they've
regular.
got government health up there. That's why. We'll be right back. Thanks for tuning in, and stay tuned. Well, most people out there know that Dr. Southwick was a Champlain native here and was raised here. And we now know that Megan was from Kansas and by way of Iowa,
Yes.
right? And Dr. Starway, you told us last year, but just refresh us again. You were born in
I
France?
was born in France, right?
France, and came to the United States at what age?
I was 12 and a half when I came here.
What did your father do?
Well, my father in France was a sort of an antique dealer.
Uh-huh.
In this country, my grandmother had a grocery store, so he ran a grocery store.
Okay, I was just wondering why he had come to the state, but without
Well,
asking.
my
but-
father's family was here,
Oh, they were here.
so we
All right.
came here after the war.
Okay, then when you got here, you were raised where?
In Illinois.
Illinois.
Bloomington,
Getting
Normal.
out there. Yeah.
Bloomington Normal, Illinois. Yeah.
All right, and then to college where?
I went to University of Illinois in Chicago, medical school.
Right, and then before you came here, where had you practiced?
I didn't. I just came here basically right out of training.
John gets them right out of school, doesn't he? Huh? Right out
Well,
of
he
training.
put an
huh?
ad. I think he put an ad in New England Journal of Medicine, and I
Uh-huh.
just happened to read it, and I said, "Gee, it sounds interesting." I came here, and it was a French-speaking city, and
Uh-huh.
automatically it just.
Parlez français, un petit
Ouais,
peu?
naturellement, je parle français, mais oui.
You speak French at all?
Nein, ich kann das Deutsch sprechen.
Oh, okay.
That's good. We'll speak French and German. That's good.
You've always, you're going to say yes, but you've enjoyed your stay in this area?
Well, I'm kind of a native now, I would
Yes.
say. Yeah.
And you're very close to two big medical centers, really, Burlington and Montreal. You've got just about everything there is here, right, John?
Yes.
And you got home, too, haven't you?
Right.
Alma mater, go to the ball games and things like that, huh?
Sit in front of Calvin and raise a little cane at the basketball game.
Do you ever make comments during the game, John?
Well, rarely, but rarely do I sit still, I should say. It's usually up and around. And in fact, my wife won't go with me. She says, I don't understand how you can carry on in a ball game like that.
Well, you get your money's worth, right?
Sure
You got a
do.
son who's a coach of the JVs.
Yes,
You got to get in
yes.
there and get active. Megan, I didn't ask you before, and I was remiss, but where are you living, or where do you intend to make your home while you're up here?
Right now, we're living on Shazy Landing on Lakeshore Road, renting a house there. We're looking for a house to buy, but unfortunately, my husband and I sort of want a, colonial contemporary A-frame.
An igloo or something like
Yeah,
that?
who
No? All right. You want it up north here? Or do you,
We're planning to live north of Shazy somewhere, but we don't know where.
Okay. And how do you feel what are your plans of flowing into this business as you come here now? You know what your plans are yet? Do you know what you're going to do what the bosses say here for that first year at least? But any plans, anything you want to start off with more than other?
I'm not sure I understand.
Well,
the
I'm not
question.
sure I understand what I'm asking you either.
Interrupt the...
Okay.
We have no bosses. It's an association.
It's an association. No, remember that.
Yeah.
Listen, bring this tape and you can say you said it was an association. All right. Well, let me ask at the other end here. What plans do you people have for Megan to start? She can't just start right in and handle 15 patients tomorrow.
Well, she'll work at her own pace and just break into it, because the best thing, I think, is for her to get a feel for the practice. And everybody's an individual. Everybody's different. Some people are faster than others. And in the end, everything works out. So,
Are patients different here than in other areas?
Probably not.
well,
Don't farmers expect a little bit more attention than someone in the city
Well, let me
sometimes?
tell you something about farmers. They'll come in and they'll tell you exactly what's wrong with them. They don't want to waste their time. Get whatever's wrong fixed and get out. That's what I like about
Well, I like that idea myself, really.
Well, you
to
got
tell
a
you the
little
truth.
bit of farm blood in you.
I sure did. Well, don't
Working with
look at
Calvin,
who's
you got a
talking
little
here. I was raised in that cast iron family, and that farm on the Southwick Road had quite a few cows before it
guess
had
it-
sheep,
yes,
right?
yes,
You
that's
milked cows when you were young, John?
13 by hand.
13 by hand.
actually, my farm used to be a cast iron farm.
Yeah, that was my father's.
That's right.
Yes, my father owned. That's right. On the Stetson Road, and my father kept young cattle there and pumped water by hand out in that.
You wouldn't believe I bought that farm for $13,000. And when I bought it, there was a new roof on the barn, and the roof had cost $500. So I had to pay $13,500 because of the new roof on the barn.
From my father.
Yes,
Well,
correct.
he's a good businessman. I think he asked me that question. He said, what would you do? I said, I think I'd charge him the $500 and only give him 15 minutes. And listen, and be late for the appointment, too.
Because the house was abandoned at the time, we fixed it all up. But
Yeah, I had some happy moments on Stetson Road there. My father passed away up the road from you at Nevada's, where Nevada's live now, and it was a happy time. I was going to school, came down to school from that location, rode a bicycle into Cooperville to get on the bus because we were outside of the district. We were in the Shazy district, and they didn't have a basketball team and didn't have any Southwicks, and I wanted to play basketball with the Southwicks.
That's right.
Remember
Yeah.
that?
Yes, with Dave.
Dave and the Craig.
Because you're much older than I am.
So anyway, getting back to Megan, we feel that if she'll work at her own pace, but as things go on, she'll gradually, just it's just a matter of feeling comfortable with the practice. I don't think it'd be any
Okay, now,
One thing that tends to happen when a new partner enters a medical group is I'll see a lot of emergencies and a lot of walk-in patients and a lot of patients who want to be seen on short notice because I'll have less people in my schedule. As people meet me, get to know me, and I establish my own group of patients, then I'll be seeing more of them.
Speaking about getting to know her, we're having an open house here on the 21st.
in this new section,
The whole building.
the
Well,
whole
it's a
building,
section,
yeah,
hopefully.
the 21st of February,
Yes.
which is what day of the week?
Sunday.
Sunday.
all right.
At 1 o'clock. We invite everybody in the area to come in and
1 o'clock, the
come and meet
21st on a
Megan,
Sunday.
meet us.
Yep,
And
okay.
see the new edition.
And no charges that day. They're going to be given, you're going to have coffee and cookies?
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah, and those are free, too, but wait, if you come in next week, you're going to pay for those, for Sunday, right?
I expect there'll be a little bit of a premium.
But now, I would think with a new doctor, then you're doing that to her, that'll come out of her commission. That'll be part of her more, because really, it's to her advantage, correct, and the people.
Well, I don't think
Actually,
I
it's to our
figured
You don't
advantage.
figure it that way yet?
I don't
It's to
think
our
so.
advantage.
All right. Have you ever done this before?
Well,
Of
Morris
what?
came.
Open house like this?
No,
No, we haven't.
No, we
Do you
haven't.
intend to have let them see a tour of any place if anybody wants?
We'll be glad to.
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, well, listen, there's something to do on the 21st. No more football games, and
There'll be no patients here, so we'll be perfectly free to show people around. And
how long do you figure that will? How old? 1 to 5, 1 to 4, or play by
We
ear?
haven't set a time limit on it, so.
But I mean, if they don't make it for 1, they can't get hit with 3. You're most likely will still
oh,
be
I'd say
here.
about 1 to 4, possibly. Yeah.
Okay, you
1
got to
to
get
4.
home and feed the baby, or you're gonna have the baby with you.
I think he'll be
Oh,
here.
Joseph David will be here.
My husband will watch him.
Your husband will be here.
Yes.
All right, we'll get a chance to meet
Well,
the Hesses. All right. Anything else that John? Anything you want? Any comments you have about Megan and what you expect?
We're very happy that she has come on board and is willing to work with two old duffers and one not quite so old.
My husband is Morris's age, so it's not that old.
How long has the process taken since the first time there's been a contact between the medical center and Megan?
And Megan, when did you first?
I interviewed here last April,
A year, nearly.
nearly a year ago, and we pretty much decided I was going to come here in May, June, but because of the baby and all these things, I didn't want to start until after my maternity leave, which I assumed my baby would be 6 weeks old, but instead he's going to be 4 months old. So
Okay.
And we just passed her on credentials committee for the hospital this morning. I'm on the credentials committee, and her record came up for vote, and it was passed. A little question here and there, no questions whatsoever.
Now,
And as a matter of fact, I must say that she came with the most flowing recommendations that we've ever had in any applicant for our job here. Without question.
that's great. Now that's from the people.
I have worked with her before.
Now, how many, where are you at the, let me take a short break here. Calvin's shoulders starting to twitch, and that camera gets heavy, and we'll be right back. You're watching Hometown Cable still, the program What's Going On Here. Bob Venn, George Starr, Dr. Southwick, both doctors, by the way, and Dr. Megan Hess. We've been joined by the other person in the family, and this is Joseph David.
oh yes,
He's talking, but I don't know what he's saying. And he is 4 months old,
3.5.
3.5, and he weighs how much today?
He's about 7 pounds now.
All right, and the reason he's 7 pounds at 3.5 months, he weighed how much when he was born?
He was 211 when he was born, because he was born about 2 months early.
He was born a 7-month baby, 211, a cesarean we talked about, right? And I was thinking maybe the reason that he never grew is because of the cold up in Alaska. He just didn't get normal. Is that normal at 7 months to under 3 pounds? Do they
No, he was even small for that.
small for there too, right?
Yeah.
Well, golly.
He's not going to cooperate.
Well, I hadn't heard him before, but
Yeah. He
Okay.
likes the nurses better than me.
find out which nurse that is when they get a child in here. They can do that. All right.
I should mention, he was in a neonatal care unit in Burlington.
What does that mean?
That
The
means
intensive care unit for babies.
Oh, he was
For 3.5 weeks.
in
he
an
was there.
incubator.
In
Incubator.
an incubator over there. And then he was down at CBPH for 3 weeks, and they took great care of him and had him gain weight till he was 4.5 pounds so I could take him home.
There was no lung problems
No lung problems, just tiny.
at 7 months. Oh, it was just small, but he's doing very well now.
Yeah, doing fine.
Now, is he going to be a small baby, you think, right along, or will he
Everybody that I've talked to who's ever had a preemie or known a preemie, and everybody in the North Country I think knows someone who's had a preemie, says that their former preemie is now 6'3" and 300 pounds.
I don't
So-
want to know what the North Country says, doctor. I want to know what the doctor says. The doctor's going to tell me this is a fact? Is that going to happen now? You're the doctor.
Hey, mothers know a lot more about babies than doctors do.
Oh, and you're both, though. You're both. All right, now, you heard that, doctor. Now, this doctor is here, and nobody knows she's here except for TV. How are they going to get an appointment with her? Or how are they going to know that she's available after March 1st? How do you plan to do this other than an open house, a notice?
we're putting a notice in the newspaper, which will run at least 3 times a week. With our hours and, I don't know if the specific hours are in, but anyway, when anyone calls for an appointment, if, for example, Dr. Southwick and Dr. Racine and I are booked up and there's no openings, then they'll see her. She'll be available.
Now-
for emergencies.
Any other plans? And like if someone calls and says, which doctor do you want to see? Going to name 4? Or are you going to say, which doctor do you want to see? They only think of 3. Are you going to
Well-
add, we have the fourth doctor now?
I think what will happen is this. Somebody will call for an appointment, and they'll say, well, I want to see Dr. Southwick. Well, Dr. Southwick is busy, but Dr. Hess
Okay.
is available.
Okay,
And I think most people are reasonable to say, well, sure, I'll see
Okay.
Dr. Hess.
all right. Now, we know, at least when I grew up, there wasn't quite the women's rights as there is now, the women's lib, all right? And when a baby was sick, and we had 3, I was on the road traveling a lot, I wasn't the one who stayed home. It was always the mother. That's changed today. Now, with a small baby, this doctor, this mother, may have to stay home once in a while. She's got appointments.
Actually, I have an excellent babysitter, Julie Rigsby, who is a native of this area and lives in Shazy, who's going to be looking after him.
Okay, so you don't see a problem in that way at all?
No.
Well, I think we should mention that in this day and age, it's not just, for example, if Megan was sick, she would stay home, but we also recognize that if a family member is sick, and I think we have a new family leave bill that's going past Congress and signed with the President. So if a family member is sick, I think it's justifiable sometimes for the person to stay, especially if it is the mother. So there's no problem there.
Okay.
And, you know, when
happens.
Joseph was born, and he also, since he's been born, has had to go to Albany and have surgery once. My husband took time off work. You know, again, just any family member, it's more accepted now for you to take time off for your family from work.
Okay.
This happens too with our nurses.
Of course, right?
And it's rarely been a problem. So we just have to pinch hit.
Okay. All
If it
right.
happens too often, I'll have to take compensatory time off too.
What does that mean, John?
Well, that means
Get
that
to the
I'll
ball
have to
game
get-
early once in a
get
while?
the ball game early and maybe stay later or whatever.
I should mention that in a group where there's several physicians, you have the security of knowing that somebody else, if you get sick, there's somebody else.
Right. And with adding on one more when there's only 3, one's is a lot. When you add 1 with 10, it's not so much, but 1 with 3 is a big difference. You've added a third more, you know. You've added 33% more availability. All right. When you have your schedule now and they set up your days every 3 an hour, 4 an hour, whatever, is there a space built in for that person that comes down like a bad earache I had the other day? Can I get in right away?
Yes,
Be more so?
Yeah, we at present, we do have a block of time for emergencies. We set this up. And sometimes it gets filled up. But we definitely will continue and expand that. So we have a block of time set up for people who call that day and want to be seen that day. And hopefully, we'll be able to see everybody who wants to be seen that day.
Okay.
We hope that, we haven't been able to quite do it, but now I think we'll be able to do
Okay.
it. So anybody that calls that day will be able to see.
Okay. But still, that doesn't mean that if you know you're going to battery trouble, they do happen, you know. And okay, George, you were saying that.
I was saying that we will have a block of time for emergencies, and anybody who calls will be seen that day. We hope we'll be able to give that service. We still would like people to call for appointments. In the future, we've discussed having open hours where people could come without an appointment. It's still a bit early to tell whether we'll be able to do this, but still, if people call, we should be able to see them the same day.
Okay. And
So
your
that-
hours are what? 8?
Generally 8 to 6.
8 to 6. That's a
And
good
be
full
8 to
day.
4 on Friday, on Saturday rather.
And you each have 1 day off in addition to Sunday during
That's
the
right.
week?
That's right.
And any particular day you want to mention, maybe they'll remember it. You're off on Wednesdays
Wednesday, George is off on Thursday.
I'm off on Thursday.
I'm off on Monday.
and Sunday, too. You've got Sunday, Monday? The only one with 2 consecutive days. Wow. When you're new, see, they'll give you all these advantages when you first come. See,
Yeah, but I've heard that if Monday's your day off, you're really tired by Wednesday.
I would imagine you would be. All right.
Sounds like Morris. I should be on here to talk about
So we don't
that.
think we're going to be able to talk to Morris, you think?
No, no.
Okay, Morris is afraid of us, but we all know who Morris is. Of course, his mom and dad, Mr. and Mrs. Morris Racine, and he's from Platt. Tell us a little bit about Morris. When did he get here?
He came in 1981, and he was the first, I believe, person to go through Plattsburgh State University and go on to medical school. He did that. He did his undergraduate in 3 years and went through medical school at Upstate and Syracuse, and took his residency in St. Joseph's Hospital, and then came here right after residency. Worked with us one summer before, but had made up his mind. Actually, I think even before he went to medical school, he was coming back to the North.
Have you
Country.
had many? You had Dr. Castine here one summer.
Right.
Victor Castine. Anybody else you've had?
Bob Orr, who's he worked with me for a while. I think this was before George came, when he was still at McGill, kind of a preceptorship. And he went to Southern Vermont to practice and is now teaching ethics in California. We had Dr. King, who's another Moores native, who was a radiologist in Syracuse. His father, son of a gun, what's his father's name? The King's name is Gerald. His sister is married to Bruce Sample, Charlotte Sample.
Mm-hmm.
And the others, and there are a lot of people.
This likely to happen in another summer, too?
It might.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, we've had several medical students on what's called preceptorship, where they spend a month with us. Well, you had a medical student
Just 2 months ago.
just 2
About
months
two or
ago.
three times a year, we'll have a medical student from the University of Vermont.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because most of them do not want to go into primary care. That's a big problem for all of us. They want to go into a specialty. It's
Time.
not necessarily easier, but their time is spent just in that one specialty so they can learn a lot about that,
Yep.
feel more comfortable,
Right.
better coverage, and fewer hours, I guess.
What about this new person medical, where he's a half a doctor, so to speak? I don't know the right term.
We're talking about a physician's assistant.
Yes, all right. That's what I wanted to say. See, physician's assistant.
They're called physician's
Yes.
assistant or physician extender. We've had one, Ed Pospey.
Yeah, I remember him. All right.
And there's pros and cons. The pros are that, of course, they are, by extenders, they enable the physician to see more patients. And some of them are very good, and they're very good for acute illnesses. They can't cover the hospital. They can't really take care of very sick patients or patients with serious illnesses. So they are limited in whom they can see. But nurse practitioners also do the same. And there are several groups that are employing physician's assistants or nurse practitioners or both, especially if they see a lot of young patients, a lot of patients who have uncomplicated illnesses.
Okay.
So there are pros and cons, and it has to be in a special situation. It's possible if this practice keeps growing that this would be an option for us to have a nurse practitioner or physician
Okay.
assistant in the future.
Any addition to that?
No, that's fine.
It's physician's assistant. You can cross off half a doctor. That's not a known term.
It's a profession in
It's a
itself.
profession in
It's a
itself. In other words, he
profession in
can
itself,
do
right.
certain things. It's like a deacon in a Catholic church. He can do certain things, but he can't do other things.
That's correct.
Right? All right. Getting back to Megan, we're going to close off this program, and you're watching Hometown Cable. What's going on here? And Megan, welcome to the North Country.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to know that you're here. You're with some nice doctors. They're all
Yes.
very friendly, and I think you'll enjoy your stay here. Hope your husband likes the area, because if he don't, you got problems. I hope he likes the area. Is he a sportsman?
Not much. We have a hovercraft that he plays with.
Well, he's got a right place for that, right here at the lake, right?
And other than that, he mostly likes cars. He likes to tinker with cars. But
Old
he's-
cars?
No, he's more into things like Porsches.
I should say this.
Yeah.
just about- When we were young, it just shows how old we are. John had a Porsche. How many Porsches you
Three.
have? Three.
You had three
He had
Porsches.
3 Porsches.
Yeah.
And
You
I
had one along the way.
I had a sports car. I had
Yeah.
a little Mercedes sports car. But that was in the old days when they were still affordable. But now we have old cars.
Yeah.
John has a whole slew of them. I have a couple, but he's got a whole slew of old cars. That's part of aging. You
Yeah,
know? Your
yeah.
cars get older as you get older.
But it is.
The other thing my husband likes is community theater. So
Oh,
that was
all
something
right.
that attracted us here.
there is a community theater.
There is around here, yes. And then, of course,
Shazy's doing Oliver, March 12th, 13th, and 14th.
yes. Oh, that's at the school. They can become
Yep.
involved in that. Yes,
Yep.
that's a community program.
Yeah.
Is he going to be involved?
Yes, he doesn't act. He builds sets. He's a tech person.
Well, good for him. Okay.
Are you talking about the musical, are you?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my daughter's in that.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, my daughter Mimi is in the musical.
She was in them last year, too.
She's been in them
Yes,
every year.
I've talked with her when we'd go in and talk to them on there. Well, listen, thank you very much for talking to us. Nice meeting you, Dr. Megan Hess. Dr. Megan or Dr. Hess? What are we going to call you?
Dr. Hess.
Dr. Hess, all right, Dr. Hess. And then George and John, thank you for your time again. It's
Well,
always a
thank
pleasure
you
to
for
see
having
you.
us on your
You're
program.
very welcome. And we hope that you people out there will come on the 21st of February, a Sunday,
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock. It'll probably extend on to at least 4. Stop in and get some free goodies on the doctors. And get some liquid refreshments will be here, milk and soft drink and coffee and stuff like that.
That's close enough.
And you can see all these, that's nice new facility. You'll have the rug down by then.
Yes.
Hope it isn't quite as dirty as it is out there today.
No, hopefully not.
Yes, we hope. Okay, so the 21st of February. That's a week after.
Valentine's Day.
See, I knew someone would know it. A week after Valentine's Day. All right. And the day before my daughter's Barbara's birthday. And happy birthday, Barbara, one day early. Okay. Bob Venn and Calvin Castan on the camera. thanking you for tuning in to what's going on here and tune in every day to this Hometown Cable. It's on at 1:15, 4:30, 8 p.m., midnight, and again at 8 the following morning. And if you're not already a patron, consider $12 or more to Hometown Cable, Box 180 in Champlain, New York, and help keeping this type of program on the air. And the rest of your money, save it when you come and meet the new doctor.
Thanks.
We ought to give you a check. I would contribute it.
Oh.
Champlain Friends of the Library is a new organization that formed about a month ago. One of our first objectives is to hold an Easter raffle and an Easter egg hunt the day before Easter. We've been able to obtain this 3-foot, almost 20-pound milk chocolate bunny from the Chocolate Candy Man in Jay, New York. It's being raffled on April 10th at the library. Tickets are $1 each. It stands approximately 3 feet high. And once I'm finished explaining, I'll put it on the floor and have a couple of youngsters come so that you can get a comparison as to how large this bunny actually is. It took approximately 5 hours to make it in 3 different molds. When it was finished, they added the ribbing, which has a dark chocolate, plus the eggs and the stripes around here. The upper part in the basket is mostly solid. The lower part is hollow. If it was a solid one, it would weigh over 75 pounds. The tickets can be obtained from the library on Monday, 2 to 5, or 5:30 to 8:30, on Wednesday in the evening, 5:30 to 8:30, and on Friday from 11 to 4. There's also Story Hour, which is held on Tuesday and Thursdays from 10:30 to 11. You can also contact the librarian at this library, 298-8620. Thank you very much for your support in this project. Connor is looking at the milk chocolate rabbit. He is 3 years old, and you see the little eggs. Each of those are chocolate. And next to him is his sister, who is 6 years old. Are you 6? Okay. Just to give you some perspective as to how large this bunny really is. Would you smile on the camera, Connor? Look at that gentleman over there. No. Okay. Thank you for helping us show how large this bunny is. That's all right. That's all right. This is our chocolate bunny that the Friends of the Library are raffling off on April 10th. It's a Saturday, the day before Easter. To get tickets, call the library at 298-8620, or come to the library on Mondays, 2 to 5, or 5:30 to 8:30, on Wednesdays, 5:30 to 8:30 in the evening, or on Fridays, 11 to 4. Your support for this project would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.